What's up, everybody? We are going to continue on with 9.5, and it's going to be called Other Angles and Circles. So, our vertex right here is on the circle itself. So, if we remember, that's called a central angle. That looks kind of weird, so I'm going to write this. So we know that the measure of the angle is equal to the measure of the arc. So this angle in this arc are the same. If our vertex is on the circle, so our vertex is right here or right here, this is a new thing where it meets a tangent line, but those are called inscribed angles. And if we remember from previous lessons that the measure of the angle is equal to half the measure of the arc length. So this arc right here has to be double this angle, and this angle has to be half of this arc. So now what if our vertex is actually in the circle itself? So the measure of the angle is equal to 1/2 times the measure of one arc plus the measure of the other arc. So what that means is if I want to find the measure of, let's say, this angle right here, I would have to take this arc plus this arc, opposites of each other, add them together, divide it by 2. Or if I wanted to find this angle right here, I would take this arc, add them up, divide by 2. It's just the average of the two. So let's go over a couple of examples. So I need to find this angle, and I'm given this arc and this arc. So x is going to be 1/2 times 72 plus 64. And if my math is correct, we take the average of those and we get 68 degrees. I didn't want to do this on my whiteboard because I would be doing a lot of erasing, and my drawing skills of circles are not the greatest. So for this one, it's a little bit different. So see how I have 94 degrees here and 112 degrees here. That's going to give me this angle right here, not this one. So what I'm going to do is I need to find this little angle I put in green first. So x is equal to 1/2 times 94 plus 112. You know what? I'm going to call this y. Y equals 103. So this is 103 degrees inside of here. Well, I know that right here is a straight line. It has to be 180 degrees. And 103 and x are a linear pair. So in order to find x, I'm going to say x is equal to 180 minus this 103 degrees. And we get x to be 77 degrees. All right, so what happens if it gives us the actual angle? Well, we know that the measure of the angle is the average of the two arcs. So let's set this up. I have, so you can write this as our normal thing is the measure of the angle equals 1/2 times arc plus arc, which is the same thing as saying that the arc plus the arc divided by 2. So I'll keep that in mind for a second. So when I set this up, I'm going to have 68 be equal to x plus 124 divided by 2 because I'm taking the average of these two arcs, and it should give me this 68 degrees right here. So in order to get rid of this 2, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So 2 times 68 is 136 equals x plus 124. To get x by itself, we'll subtract 124 from both sides, and we get x is 12 degrees. All right, so this one is where it was a little bit different, but it's the same type of thing. Hey, we have an inscribed angle right here because the vertex is on the circle itself. And our rule is that the angle has to be half of the arc. So x is just going to be 134 divided by 2, and we get x is 67 degrees. Now for this one, our vertex is right here, and it's going out. So if we know that this is 110 degrees, we know that a circle is 360, so this has got to be 250 degrees, because if we add them up, we get 360. And now we can do our little rule where the angle is half of the arc. So x is 250 divided by 2, we get x is 125 degrees. And that is where we are going to end today. This is kind of a long lesson. We did factoring the first lesson. We're doing when the vertex is on the inside of a circle. Next lesson will be when the vertex is actually outside of a circle. After we do that lesson, we'll have a little quiz over factoring and then when the rest of 9.5. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd be more than willing to help you out. I know we can do some Zoom calls and I can actually share my screen with you. And so that could be kind of helpful because I know this stuff is very visual. Please let me know if you have questions. I hope you guys are all doing well. Be safe. Hopefully this ends soon.